Excuse me, sir, do you own this property?
Oh, yeah, I built it all myself. You want a tour?
Yeah, that would be great, but, where's the damn door?
Oh no, you don't do that here. Follow me.
What?
You see, us beavers build our homes with secret entrances underwater so predators can't get in.
Smart.
And welcome inside.
Wow.
So right here is actually the dry off area, so here.
Oh, yeah.
And there's the bedroom and the nursery area where the family is. Say hi, guys.
Hey, guys. And how long did this take you to build?
About a week and a half with the family.
Wow, and how did you cut all this wood so fast?
With these bad boys right here. Packed with iron, so they're extremely strong.
So that's why they're orange?
Yep. Plus, if I don't aggressively bite wood every single day, they'll grow back in my face and kill me.
Really?
Yeah, but it's worth it. We help create massive wetlands that support the whole ecosystem.
Damn.
No, this is the lodge. Them is outside.
What?
Also, building all this could be dangerous too. My son is actually logging above us right now.
Are you sure that's safe?
Oh yeah, we're usually great at dodging traffic.
Excuse me, sir, do you own this property?
Oh, yeah, I built it all myself. You want a tour?
Did you know there's a seal that causes so much damage that locals have an insurance policy just for him? Meet Neil the seal, a teenage elephant seal that is known for terrorizing the public in Tasmania. But how exactly? Well, let's start with the less destructive things, such as flopping himself down in the middle of a busy road and blocking traffic, where no matter how much poking or scaring locals try, he usually just screams at you and flops back in place. And he doesn't stop there. Neil also seems to hate infrastructure, known to fight things like poles, bollards, traffic cones, or anything poking out of the ground. Still, this is only the least destructive thing he's done. For instance, Neil is not only known to nap on your front porch, trapping you inside, or laying in front of your car, blocking you from going to work, but it's also common for him to just destroy your property, especially mailboxes and fences. So much so that insurances like the RACT will cover damages for seals like Neil. But the craziest part is, Neil isn't just doing this because he's evil. You see, Neil is just a 5-year-old southern elephant seal, and as he continues growing up to 3 times his size, young males like him are supposed to fight and socialize with other seals. But when Neil shows up in town, there's usually no other seals to interact with. So instead, the town itself becomes his social interaction. Did you know there's a seal that causes so much damage that locals have an insurance policy just for him? Meet Neil the seal, a teenage elephant seal that is known for terror. Excuse me, sir, do you own this?
The probability of me understanding this?
Did you know that one of the world's deadliest viruses is actually on your side? Meet the bacteriophage, a lethal virus that's hunting in your body right now. But how come this doesn't kill you? Well, first reason, unlike normal viruses, bacteriophages don't hunt your healthy cells. They hunt bacteria. And the way they kill is horrifying. All beginning when a phage lands on a bacteria cell in your body. Using tiny leg-like fibers, it locks onto the surface. Then with sharp spikes underneath its body, it pierces straight through the bacteria, pushing down until it fully locks in place, and it only gets worse. A tube connected to the phage's head filled with DNA then pushes through the surface, injecting its own DNA straight into the bacteria, essentially hijacking the bacteria's machinery, turning it into its own factory, forcing it to create dozens or sometimes hundreds of clones of the phage inside itself, until eventually there's so many bacteriophage copies inside that the bacteria literally explodes, where a whole new army of bacteriophage burst out ready to kill more bacteria just for you, all happening within inside your body right now. Did you know that people are saying you're the most dangerous shrimp in the ocean? Can I ask you a few questions?
Go for it.
Who do you go by?
Pistol shrimp.
And what do you do for a living?
I shoot for a living.
Damn! Okay, first question, how did you do that?
With this oversized claw right here, has a built-in mechanism that snaps real fast.
And that kills things?
Yeah, I can show you. Follow me.
Oh, sure. Okay, well, as we swim, do you get along with other pistol shrimp out here?
Not really. We often get into shootouts over territory and stuff like that.
Seriously?
Yeah, I had to kill a man to get that little rock cut over there.
Oh, dang. So I heard you guys are one of the loudest animals on Earth. Is that true?
Yeah, when we shoot, it can reach up to 218 decibels, louder than a jet engine.
Actually?
Yeah, apparently it messes with Navy sonars and stuff.
That's crazy. Okay, one more thing. How does your claw actually kill? Because I know it snaps fast, but like how?
Basically, my claw has a plunger inside that snaps so fast it creates a cavitation bubble with only vapor inside. The pressure around the bubble is so strong it almost gets as hot as the surface of the sun.
What?
Then collapses, creating a shockwave that kills my prey.
That's just ridiculous.
Oh, and you see that crab over there?
Bring him in the interview.
Oh, sure, why not? Hey buddy, how you doing? What's your name for the interview?
Oh, hey, my name is...
People are saying you're the most dangerous shrimp in the ocean. Can I ask you a few questions?
Go for it.
If If you stand under this tree for shade, it can literally kill you. Meet the manchineel tree, the world's most dangerous tree where nearly every single part of it can take you out. But how? Well, let's start with the fruit. These trees grow an apple-like fruit that you would think is harmless, looking and smelling delicious. But it only takes one bite, and you'll find out they're highly toxic, causing an extremely intense burning in your mouth and throat, along with stinging so painful it's described to feel like swallowing broken glass. But it only gets worse. Let's move on to the tree itself. Every single part of this tree, from the bark, branches, and even the leaves, have this white milky sap inside. Looks normal, but is so toxic that touching the tree anywhere can cause extremely painful skin irritation and severe blistering. And you don't even have to touch a tree, because if one catches fire, the smoke is almost like a toxic gas bomb, causing painful eye irritation, partial blindness, or respiratory problems. Now worst of all, not only does it hold the Guinness World Record for being the world's most dangerous tree, but simply walking past one or standing under it can put you at risk, as all it takes is a little bit of rain and the droplets can mix with the toxic sap, creating a poisonous shower dripping right onto you. If you stand under this tree for Excuse me, who are you and what do you do for a living?
I'm a Greenland shark, and parasites eat my eyes for a living.
Ooh. Okay, anyways, first question, where do you live?
Right here, in the Arctic Midnight Zone, 7,000 feet down where the sun doesn't shine and the water is freezing.
Cool, man. So how do you eat down here?
Follow me.
Oh, sure. You slowing down for something?
We can only swim around 0.5 mile per hour, about as fast as a Roomba vacuum.
Oh yeah, we could take it slow then. Anyways, next question. Do you have any friends or family that you hang out with?
What's that?
Okay, so what do you do for fun down here?
I like to count the parasites in my eyes. Yesterday I hit a record of 4.
That sounds pretty fun.
Oh, and here's the food you asked about before.
Oh, what's that?
Carrion. Basically just a rotting body.
Looks good. Alright, anyways, last question. How many years have you been doing this for? I'm guessing you're in your mid-40s or something like that.
More.
50s?
More.
60s?
More.
70s?
I'm 400 years old.
Excuse me, who are you and what do you do for a living?
I'm a Greenland shark.
If you want to get this, head on over to yasmasport.com and use
How did this dentist become one of the deadliest men in World War II and take out dozens of soldiers all by himself in one battle? It all began in 1944 during the Battle of Saipan, where a soon-to-be dangerous man named Ben Solomon was stationed in a US medical tent near the front lines. Ben was just a dentist who was there to replace a wounded surgeon, not expecting to fight. But everything changed when the Japanese launched the largest surprise banzai attack in the entire war, which is when hundreds or thousands of soldiers sprint at you through the front lines as a last-ditch effort. Where almost immediately, a Japanese soldier attacked Ben's medical tent, bayoneting a wounded US troop near the front. Ben was supposed to evacuate now, but without hesitation, he picked up a rifle and shot the attacker. And this was only the beginning. 2 more Japanese soldiers rushed the medical tent, where Ben would shoot both of them, but they continued flooding in. 4 more Japanese soldiers ran in through the front and crawled in from the sides, where Ben would shoot one of them, disarm the second, bayonet the third, and club the fourth with his rifle while a wounded soldier helped. At this point, Ben knew it would only get worse, his last recorded words being,
"I'll hold them off until you get to safety."
As the rest of the tent evacuated, the dentist went straight out into the front lines alone, manning an abandoned machine gun, firing at the enemies coming towards the medical tent for hours, wave after wave. The next morning, they would discover Salomon's body slumped over the machine gun, but was surrounded by 98 fallen Japanese soldiers that he held off all by himself. How did this dentist become one of the deadliest men in World War II and take out dozens of soldiers?
Hey, you see that guy over there?
Yeah?
We hate him.
Huh? What? Why?
Rich's birthday party, '09. He did us dirty.
That's like 17 years ago. How do you even remember that?
We hold grudges for years.
Well, what did he do?
He threw a pine cone at me when I was trying to eat.
What? I mean, that's pretty bad, but 17 years is kind of crazy, huh?
For the next 7 generations, you will teach your children, your children's children, your children's children's children. When you see this man, you will dive bomb, steal, back, and take his wife. Never forget.
That guy.
Whoa, what did you tell him?
Now show him what you're made of, boy.
Dive bomb, mother.
Hey, you see that guy over there?
You will board my boat. You'll board my boat. You'll board my boat. You will board my boat. You'll board my boat. You will board my boat. You will board my boat. You'll board my boat. Okay. You will board my boat.
This dinosaur was so terrifying to attack that even T-Rexes might have avoided it. Meet the Ankylosaurus. And once you see how this thing was built, you'll understand why it was so scary. Let's begin with their body. They were absolute tanks. The armor on their back wasn't just a shell like normal dinosaurs, but rather directly infused into their skin. So you couldn't just rip it off, as the dinosaur itself was the armor. Nearly impossible to bite through. It doesn't stop there, as they were essentially a walking fortress. Built extremely low to the ground, wide, weighed up to 8 tons, and believed to squat down low to the dirt when threatened, meaning it was almost impossible for any dinosaur to flip them or reach their vulnerable underside. Not only that, if you tried to attack anywhere else, its neck was armored, legs, tail, head had heavily enforced bones, and possibly even their eyelids were armored. But this is the least of your problems, as they had a massive muscular club tail, estimated to swing up to 30 miles per hour, hitting with enough force to potentially shatter bones. But the craziest of all, although it's possible a T-Rex could have hunted an Ankylosaurus, to this day, scientists still have never found any confirmed T-Rex bite marks on an Ankylosaurus fossil. This dinosaur was so terrifying to attack that even T-Rexes might have avoided.
Hey, back off! This is my kill! You're not getting shit!
Oh, come on, man, you gotta give him something.
I'm starving, dude. I don't care.
So is he.
I said I don't care!
Come on.
Oh, alright, fine. This is all you're getting. Oh my god! Now there's 3 of them! What do you want me to do now?
Dude, they could help you.
No, they can't.
Yes, they can.
That's cap.
I'm not lying. They could help you kill that thing right over there.
Wait, they can help me hunt those?
Yeah.
Yo guys, I have a deal. If you help me kill that thing over there, I'll give you some of my meat. Say less. Alright, bet.
You got a friend in me.
Hey, back off! This is my kill!
Every single time you do this,
Let's
don't
go.
Imagine you walked outside and saw dozens of your neighbors violently dancing until their feet bled and collapsed unconscious. This actually happened in 1518 in a town called Strasbourg. All starting with this woman right here named Frau Trophia, one day randomly walking outside of her house and dancing in the streets. At first, people thought nothing of it. Maybe she just liked dancing or was a little bit crazy. But this is where things got weird. As hours passed, she just didn't stop, looking completely exhausted, drenched in sweat, and somehow kept moving all throughout day and night. And it only got worse, because people strangely started joining her, one by one, dancing in this weird trance-like state. Still, it was only a few people, so no one too concerned yet. But as days passed, not only weren't they stopping, but people kept joining in, at one point reaching dozens of people. Now the town was worried, hoping they would just eventually stop on their own. But no. Their feet became bloody and bruised, bodies on the brink of collapsing. People tried dragging them away, holding them still, giving them food and water, taking them to church, and even built a stage with music playing to hopefully dance the sickness out. But nothing they tried was working, only stopping unless they physically collapsed. Some even reportedly dying from exhaustion, where this would go on for multiple months, starting in July, slowly fading out around early September, with 400 infected people in total. Whether it was mass hysteria, poisoning, or mental illness, to this day we still don't know the exact reason for the dancing plague. Imagine you walked outside.
Does anyone got food? I'm starving.
Let me see. We got some seeds.
God damn it, are you sure there's nothing else we could eat?
What about some roots?
This gotta be rage bait or something, dude.
Yeah, what the hell? We want meat.
What? What's that?
Meat.
Meat? What do you mean meat?
Meat.
Meat? Oh, God.
Come on, you guys are such p***s. Let's go.
John, I don't know, dude. I think the seeds are just fine, actually.
No, I'm sick of this. I'm killing this thing.
John, no. John!
John, no! John!
I told you it's nothing, dude. Come on, let's go.
Meat. Has anyone got food? I'm starving.
Let me see.
Spring break road trip to Florida.
We just reached our halfway point.
I'm already thinking about breakfast. They have a waffle machine where you get the bat.
Penguins are a lot darker than you thought, and nowhere near as innocent as they seem. But why? Firstly, penguins can get extremely violent. Despite looking harmless, many male penguin species have been observed brutally fighting each other over things like territory, eggs, or mating partners. So bad, they sometimes leave each other critically injured or even dead. And they only get more disturbing, as penguins are chronic thieves, often spotted stealing rocks from other penguins' nests that took days to build, leaving the eggs without protection to help their own. Or even crazier, penguin prostitution can take place for the Adelie species. Valuing rocks so much is essentially a form of currency, where female penguins might mate with males for an exchange of some rocks. And somehow it gets worse, as emperor and king penguins are known to kidnap babies. Usually after losing theirs, instincts can make them steal and raise a random chick as their own. Or sometimes, penguins might even abandon their own child. Although for survival, they're known to leave the weakest chick behind to die, only helping the healthier one. And let's say the weaker chick does survive, while they're still known to get bullied by stronger ones, being pushed and hit around. Then even if you are a healthier chick, you're not safe from deadly things like trampling, freezing, starvation, or being hunted. But worst of all, during mating season, specifically male Adelie penguins can get so aggressive that they've been seen violently forcing females to mate, or sometimes attempting to mate with dead penguins. Penguins are a lot darker than you thought, and nowhere near as— if you tossed a single rock into this tiny hole in the Nevada desert, you could kill off this entire species of fish. Meet the devil's hole pupfish, one of the rarest fish on Earth that definitely shouldn't be alive. But why? Let's start with their home. You see this small pool right here? Well, this is where every single one of them on Earth lives. Just a 10 feet wide and 70-foot long hole in the middle of a desert, where the water temperature sits at around 90 degrees Fahrenheit at all times, and barely has any oxygen. So how do they survive this? Well, you see, they've lived in this exact spot for thousands of years, meaning their bodies have literally adapted to survive this specific pool of water. Not only that, but the food source for their entire existence is sustained from a singular spot of algae growing on a tiny rock shelf. But this is where things get bad, as this means only a small amount of fish could live here at once. So no, there's not a few thousand of these fish, but only about 75 pupfish that live in this pool as of today, with a small all-time record of only about 540 pupfish. But the biggest problem of all, scientists say these pupfish are the most inbred species on the entire Earth, giving them a huge disadvantage genetically, where even small events like weather or tiny environment changes could wipe them out. For example, one time 3 drunk men broke into the devil's hole, swam around, crushed eggs, and vomited in the water, putting the whole species at risk. But somehow they're still alive to this day, living in this exact spot for well over 10,000 years. If you tossed—
I've had this deck system.
12 reasons Theodore Roosevelt was way more badass than you thought. Firstly, he had a fight club in the basement of the White House, often fighting staff members, Secret Service, or even diplomats, so obsessed that doctors begged him to stop, eventually going blind in one eye from it. Next, he was once shot in the chest before a speech, but a folded piece of paper in a glasses case slowed down the bullet just enough not to kill him, continuing to give a speech for 90 minutes as he bled through his shirt. And he only gets more badass. He once ditched his political career to become a cowboy after his wife and mother sadly died on the same day, where he would live on his own ranch, rode horses, hunted, and slept outside. One time even had his boat stolen, so he built another one, chased down the thieves for multiple days in freezing weather, and captured them. He doesn't stop there. He was so addicted to hiking that he would go out even in deadly conditions, and sometimes force diplomats to go hiking with him during meetings. Explored the Amazon rainforest in an uncharted area at 55 years old, almost dying multiple times. During battles, was known for charging directly into danger instead of avoiding it. Is one of the main reasons teddy bears and national parks exist now. Read multiple books every day, was so energetic and hardworking he would exhaust anyone who worked with him, and is the youngest US president in history, dying peacefully in his sleep, quoted that death only won because Roosevelt wasn't awake to fight it. 12 reasons Theodore Roosevelt was way more badass than you thought. Firstly, he had a fight club in the basement of the White House, often fighting staff members, Secret Imagine you're crawling through a cave and suddenly you can't move at all. This actually happened in 2009. A 26-year-old cave explorer, John Edward Jones, was exploring the Nutty Putty Cave for a family trip, a popular cave system in Utah known for having some narrow tunnels, but wasn't considered deadly and actually a beginner-friendly cave for inexperienced climbers. Also, John had climbed here years ago as a child, so he was pretty confident. Climbing deeper, eventually John made it to the most popular area of the cave called the birth canal. Not too challenging for him, but this is where things took a turn. As John continued crawling, the tunnels started getting way tighter than he remembered. Because what John didn't realize, this wasn't the birth canal. He made a completely wrong turn into an unmapped area of the cave. Thinking it would get easier, he crawled even deeper. Becoming so challenging, he had to suck in air to squeeze through. Continuing to go down further again, hoping to find a turnaround spot, when out of nowhere, a dead end. Now entirely unable to move. Pinned against the rocks so tight, he couldn't move his arms or take deep breaths. Upside down, with gravity slowly crushing his body and locking him further in place. His brother found him, tried helping, but had no luck. Called rescuers who tried assisting him, breaking rocks, and even a pulley system. But nothing they did was working. Spending a full 25 hours in this nightmare, until the pressure from being upside down caused John's body to give out. Where to this day, John is still there, forever sealing off the cave as his tomb. Imagine you're crawling through a cave and suddenly you can't move at all. This actually happened in 2009. A 26-year-old cave explorer, John Edward Jones, was exploring the Nutty Putty Cave for a family trip, a popular cave system in Utah known for having some narrow tunnels, but wasn't considered deadly and actually a beginner-friendly cave for inexperienced climbers. Also, John had climbed here years ago as a child, so he was pretty confident. Climbing deeper, eventually John made it to the most popular area of the cave called the birth canal. Not too challenging for him, but this is where things took a turn. As John continued crawling, the tunnels started getting way tighter than he remembered. Because what John didn't realize, this wasn't the birth canal. He made a completely wrong turn into an unmapped area of the cave. Thinking it would get easier, he crawled even deeper. Becoming so challenging, he had to suck in air to squeeze through. Continuing to go down further again, hoping to find a turnaround spot, when out of nowhere, a dead end. Now entirely unable to move. Pinned against the rocks so tight, he couldn't move his arms or
Okay, I do.
Horrifying reasons you could never survive the Titanoboa. Starting off, they were 8 times longer than you, reaching up to 50 feet long, about the width of an average home, and around 2,500 pounds, heavy as a small car. The largest snake to ever exist. But it gets worse. You wouldn't even know they were coming. Despite being as large as a bus, Titanoboas were actually ambush predators, commonly hiding in murky water, had camouflage skin, and made almost zero sound, staying almost entirely invisible when hunting you. Even more terrifying, it's estimated they could swim 8 to 12 miles per hour, easily able to outswim you. But even if you did somehow escape, Titanoboas had bodies extremely sensitive to vibrations, meaning they could feel every movement you make and find exactly where you're hiding without even needing to see you. And if you think being on land will save you, it wasn't impossible for them to hide right on shore, within logs, under thick vegetation, or swamp grass in plain sight. But worst of all is when they catch you, capable of striking in less than a second, biting into you with a mouth that opens 3 feet wide, about half the size of your body, with teeth curved backwards, no way to escape once it bit you. And it wouldn't end quickly, slowly wrapping around your body, squeezing so hard, it would feel like a small car laying on top of you, cutting off your blood flow, all until you stop moving, swallowing you entirely whole. Horrifying reasons you could never survive the 8 weird laws you'd be forced to follow living in the Roman Empire. Firstly, if you hated someone and wanted to write a mean song or poem about them, it was believed damaging someone's honor or image like this was equivalent to physically attacking them, executing you. Next, if a thief broke into your house, you weren't allowed to kill them, only able to defend yourself if they showed a weapon or if it took place during nighttime. If you were caught singing next to your neighbor's crops suspiciously, Romans thought you were using a curse to weaken your neighbor's crops and make your own grow faster, treating it like real theft, punishing you. But it gets crazier. If your favorite color to wear is purple, it was reserved for high-ranking people and elites only, taking your clothes and finding you. Maybe you're a woman married to a man. Well, he would legally own you if you stayed with him for a year straight. If you were struck by lightning, you weren't allowed to have a proper funeral. Believed their god Jupiter himself had claimed you, burying you right where you fell. Then even if you did have a funeral, too much loud crying or extreme emotion was seen as chaotic and a bad look for the state, shutting down your funeral. But worst of all, if you had a child with any extreme deformities, parents were legally allowed to abandon their child to die. 8 weird laws you'd be forced to follow living in the Roman Empire. Firstly, if you Did you know about this frog that basically freezes itself to death on purpose? It all begins in winter, where the species called the wood frog will, instead of protecting itself from the cold like normal animals, hide right on the surface, not underground, strangely letting itself freeze in the extreme temperature. Their body turns frozen solid, ice literally forming in their veins. Breathing and heartbeats stop, and becomes completely unresponsive. Any other animal would be dead at this point, but this frog has different plans. Inside its body, a surge of glucose floods its system, acting like a natural antifreeze, protecting its cells from dying, allowing it to stay frozen, essentially dead, for 7 to 8 months. And once winter is over, it simply thaws out, waking up like nothing happened. Did you know about this frog that basically freezes? How did this cat survive a sinking ship, then another, and another, every time it should have died? It all began during a World War II. These are the horrifying steps you would face if you got lost in the Appalachian Mountains. Firstly, you won't even realize you're lost. It only takes one wrong turn off trail that looks like the right direction, and the forest can start to repeat itself every direction you turn. Realizing you're lost far too late, which is why many have disappeared in these seemingly calm mountains. But it only gets worse from here, as the weather can flip almost instantly. Due to the high elevation of the mountains, clear skies can turn foggy in just minutes, making it easy to get lost even with experience. Then if you think screaming for help will save you, the trees and bushes will work against you, acting like a barrier, muffling screams or sounds you make, nearly impossible for people to hear you at a distance. Or if you want to call for help and open up a GPS, signal is unable to reach you here, leaving you on your own. Even creepier, these mountains are over 400 million years old, older than mammals, dinosaurs, and trees. Not meant for humans like you, which you'll realize after seeing abandoned towns, mines, and old roads with no signs of life, just silence, causing your brain to start playing tricks on you. Many hikers report hearing voices, whistling, and a weird presence following them in this isolation, repeating all of this over and over as your body gets weaker, until eventually there's no trace you were ever here at all. These are the horrifying steps you would face if you got lost in the Appalachian Mountains. Firstly, you won't even realize you're lost. It only takes one wrong turn off trail that looks like the right direction, and the forest can start to repeat itself every direction you turn. Realizing you're lost far too late, which is why many have disappeared in these seemingly calm mountains. Did you know that emerald wasps are terrifying mind controllers and can hijack cockroaches' brains to walk to their own death? It all begins when an emerald wasp smells and spots a cockroach, tracking onto its movements and positioning itself for an ambush. Once you're in the perfect spot, it'll quickly fly in before you could even react, landing onto your body and stinging you in 2 precise areas. First into your thorax, which paralyzes your front legs, then specifically stinging you in the part of your brain that controls your instincts to escape. And it only gets worse from here, as the cockroach now is almost in a zombie-like state, completely passive and no longer resisting. The wasp could easily kill you here, but it has a far darker plan for you, grabbing you by the antenna like a leash and walking you away without control, dragging you all the way into a burrow it's specifically designed for your death. Once inside, it'll let go and lay a singular egg on you, walking out and sealing the burrow shut, leaving you with no escape. And eventually the egg hatches a larvae which slowly eats you over the span of multiple days, not only still alive but not even realizing what's happening. Over time, the larvae burrows deeper, feeding on your insides and hollowing out your body as it grows, all until you eventually die. And after a few weeks, a fully grown wasp will rip its way out of your body, starting the cycle all over again. Did you know that emerald wasps are terrifying mind controllers and can hijack cockroaches? These are 10 weird things you didn't know about Leonardo da Vinci. Firstly, he would randomly follow people in the street. More specifically, if you had a large nose, protruding chin, or a weird face, he would reportedly trail you for hours just sketching you in his notebook. Next, he was a chronic procrastinator, taking years to finish paintings and often left many of his projects unfinished to start new ones, where the Mona Lisa itself took over a decade. But he gets weirder. He wrote everything backwards, writing from left to right, using a mirror to see what was on the paper, making it almost impossible to read on its own. He carried a tiny notebook everywhere he went in case he had an idea or wanted to draw. Had little to no formal education, yet still learned science, anatomy, and engineering by himself. He was believed to be a vegetarian, extremely rare for the time, and would buy caged birds just to set them free. And even liked pranking people with his lizard, decorating it with wings, a beard, eyes, and horns to make it look like a dragon, then setting it free and scaring his guests. But he doesn't stop there. He would secretly dissect human bodies caves and study them, creating some of the most accurate anatomical drawings in history. Absolutely hated war, but designed tons of deadly war weapons, and predicted things similar to tanks, helicopters, parachutes, diving gear, and more, being hundreds of years ahead of his time. These are 10 weird things you didn't know about Leonardo da Vinci. Firstly, he would randomly follow people in the street, more specifically if he had a large nose. Have you ever wondered why people hate the hyrax and call it the most boring animal on the planet, when in reality it's actually way cooler than you think? First reason, this tiny animal isn't even a rodent, but related to elephants, sharing a similar bone structure, especially in their skull and feet, and even have 2 tiny tusk-like fangs. But they get even crazier, as their feet are extremely advanced, having a soft rubbery padding and sweat glands that keep them moist at all times, allowing them to grip onto surfaces and climb extremely steep rocks almost like geckos. But they don't stop there. They can survive insane falls that kill most other animals because of their small and compact bodies, able to instantly squeeze into tiny rock crevices to escape predators, have one of the most complex communication systems of any animal, able to communicate danger, food, and more to help each other survive, are so organized they poop and pee in the same spot like a bathroom over hundreds or thousands of years, marking their territory, and can even harden into a rare substance called hyraceum, used in perfumes you might have, and are even mentioned in the Bible because of how good they are at surviving in difficult terrain despite being so small and vulnerable. But the most insane is that even with no real strength or speed, they've been around way longer than humans and outlived many species, surviving for around 30 to 40 million years, nowhere near as useless as people thought. Have you ever wondered why people hate the hyrax and call it the most boring animal on the planet, when in reality it's actually way cooler than you think? First reason, this
1 second you know.
These are 10 weird things you didn't know about Socrates. Firstly, he was considered extremely annoying, known to constantly walk around public and approaching random people in the street and intensely questioning their knowledge, often exposing them for being wrong, which made many people in Athens hate him. Next, he would sometimes turn into a statue. It's reported Socrates would randomly freeze, standing in place for multiple hours all throughout day and night just thinking, where crowds of people and even soldiers would form around him, simply watching. But he gets weirder. He was almost always barefoot, even in winter, wore the same basic clothes every day, and didn't care about money at all, often refusing to take payments and lived extremely cheap. Not even working a job for the last 2 decades of his life, spending all of his time debating philosophy. And he doesn't stop there. He would publicly humiliate powerful politicians in debates so often that he began drawing in crowds and gaining tons of influence, becoming such a problem that he was eventually jailed and sentenced to execution for supposedly corrupting the youth. But the most insane is that Socrates could have escaped. Many friends and even corrupt insiders offered to help him escape the execution, but he refused because he believed escaping would go against all of his beliefs. And on the day of execution, he stayed completely calm, drinking the poison and discussed philosophy with his friends as it slowly paralyzed his body until he finally collapsed. These are 10 weird things you didn't know about Socrates. Firstly, he was considered extremely annoying, known to constantly walk around public and approaching random people in the street and intensely questioning their knowledge, often exposing them. Have you ever wondered why the blobfish is called the ugliest animal in the world and made fun of for its looks, when in reality it's not supposed to look like this at all? But why? Firstly, blobfish aren't built like normal fish. Instead of having a tough body and hard bones, they have a jelly-like skeleton and almost no muscles, making them very squishy and fragile, barely able to swim. But this is actually perfect. You see, blobfish live deep in the ocean, around 600 to over 1,000 meters down, where the pressure is 100 times stronger than the surface. So their soft bodies actually help, making them slightly less dense than water, allowing them to float above the seafloor, drifting around eating animals without wasting energy, and look like a completely normal fish. But this is where the problems begin. You see, fishermen use something called trawling nets, which are made to drag along the ocean floor to catch other deep sea animals. But because these nets reach so far down, they often drag straight through the blobfish's environment and catch them by accident, pulling them hundreds of meters out of their natural habitat, where the pressure drops rapidly. Without strong bones and low amounts of muscle, it'll cause their bodies to lose shape. Face stretches and sags downwards, and body collapses into a droopy-looking blob, no longer the animal they once were. And this is the version of the blobfish people take pictures of, making fun of an animal that was never meant to leave its home. Have you ever wondered why the blobfish is called the ugliest animal in the world and made fun of for its looks, when in reality it's not supposed to look like this at all? These are 10 weird things you didn't know about Cleopatra. First off, she had a secret drinking club called the Inimitable Livers, hosting feaster parties where everyone drank tons of alcohol, showed off luxury, and reportedly disguised as civilians wandering the streets plastered, pranking, or messing with random strangers. Next, Cleopatra loved to enter places dramatically. More specifically for important meetings, she would arrive on a massive decorated barge with purple sails, gold everywhere, dressed like a goddess, perfume or incense in the air, and had music playing. But it gets crazier. She was only about 18 when she became queen, turned into one of the most powerful and richest women in ancient history, spoke 9 different languages, and actually wasn't praised for her beauty, but more for her extreme intelligence, personality, and smooth voice that could apparently charm anyone. Even more insane, she married 2 of her younger brothers, but both later died after conflicts with her. She would test poison on prisoners to see which ones were the quickest, most painless, or didn't ruin your appearance. One time dissolved a pearl in her drink and chugged it for a bet, and even stuffed herself inside of a bundle of bedding to secretly meet with Julius Caesar and secure her throne. But the most insane, Cleopatra wasn't even Egyptian. She was Greek and was alive closer to the invention of the iPhone than the actual building of the pyramids. These are 10 weird things you didn't know about Cleopatra. First off, these are horrifying facts no one tells you about Mount Everest that only get worse. First off, dead bodies are used as landmarks. Over 330 people have died on Everest and around 200 bodies are still there, meaning you'll see people who died years ago almost perfectly preserved looking like they're still alive, helping climbers remember where they are or where not to go. But it gets darker. As you go up, the air can make you go insane. On Everest, the air is so thin it can lead to a disturbing condition called hypoxia, which starves your brain of oxygen, taking away your ability to think straight, make you hear voices or things that aren't there, take off important gear without realizing, or even walking off path never to be seen again. But it doesn't stop there, as your body will literally start to eat itself. If you manage to climb high enough, you'll reach an area called the death zone, where it's not just your mind anymore. The lack of oxygen makes your muscles become weak, can cause fluid to fill your lungs, non-stop headaches and nausea, your body can't heal, brain swelling, and at any moment you can collapse. And if you think you could be saved, there's no guarantee. When too high up, helicopters are unable to reach you, and rescuing is sometimes impossible, extremely exhausting, or can kill you, often forcing others to leave you behind to survive. But worst of all, it's estimated 50 to 60% of all deaths on Everest are on the way down, meaning even if you finally reach the top, there's no guarantee you'll make it back. These are horrifying facts no one tells you about Mount Everest that only get worse. First off, dead bodies are used as landmarks. Over 330 people have died on Everest.
Okay, should I get this or this? Gemini in Chrome? Which of these noise-canceling headphones has long battery life? This looks good. Okay, should I get this or this? Gemini in Chrome? Which of these noise-canceling headphones has long battery life? This looks good. Okay, should I get this or this? Gemini in Chrome? Which of these noise-canceling headphones has long battery life?
Jack the Ripper was far more disturbing than you thought, and was so horrifying he made entire cities afraid to sleep at night. But how is this possible? First reason, all of his murders happened in the same area. Each body was found within walking distance from each other, all killed inside of a small 1-mile radius, and was somehow never seen. But it gets more disturbing. He would hunt his victims at around midnight to 4 AM, making him almost invisible, purposely attacking in dark or dimly lit areas, and would only last minutes, leaving before anyone could see him. And when the bodies were found, it wasn't just stabs. Some were left unrecognizable, cut open, or found with almost perfectly surgical cuts missing organs. But he doesn't stop there. After every murder, letters claiming to be from Jack the Ripper would be sent to police and officials, mocking or describing the murder in graphic detail. One official even received a message with a piece of human kidney alongside. Even worse, he didn't wear a top hat or cape like it was said, but rather looked completely normal, meaning it could be anyone, which sent London into a full panic. People were terrified to sleep at night and patrolled the streets in groups looking just for him. On top of this, he would barely leave any clues or evidence behind, where police had to investigate thousands of different people and hundreds of different suspects, even including a woman later nicknamed Jill the Ripper. Still, nothing helped. But the darkest of all, there's only 5 victims we know about, with the possibility of much more, which he all did in the span of only 10 weeks, suddenly stopping in November 1888, where still to this day, no one 100% knows who Jack the Ripper is. Jack the Ripper was far These are terrifying reasons you can never survive the Amazon rainforest. First off, there's no escape. When you enter the Amazon, it literally rearranges itself around you. Every footstep you make will be washed away in seconds. And vegetation is so dense that it'll instantly cover the paths you made, trapping you in an endless loop. But it gets worse. As you look for a way out, you also begin to notice the ground is alive. Every single inch of the floor within the Amazon is covered in insects and living things, where even if you try to climb a tree to escape, they're more infested. But this is the least of your problems, as the air within the forest can rot the skin off your body. It's so humid, sweat doesn't evaporate and feels like you're constantly underwater, turning your skin soft and easy to tear, often causing infections that rot to your bone. And if you tried to clean off your wounds, there's nothing but piranhas, parasites, and predators waiting for you in the water. Or if you want to cool off, be careful of the 200-degree boiling river. But worst of all, the jungle never sleeps. 70% of all animals in the Amazon are estimated to be nocturnal, meaning the chance of you being hunted in the pitch black is much higher. You'd be covered in 2 times more bugs and deafened by the sounds of the jungle 24/7. And even if you finally hear the jungle fall into peace and quiet, that just means you're the target. These are terrifying reasons you could
Get the VIP view at home on the new Hisense RGB.
These are 4 animals with the most overpowered hunting tactics. First, falcons literally turn themselves into missiles. When they spot a prey below, it'll fly up, fold its wings into a bullet-like shape, and dive straight down, clenching its talons into fists while reaching up to 200 miles per hour, then punching the prey so hard it instantly stuns or kills it. Next, cuttlefish can mind control its food. Their skin has special cells that can instantly change colors and patterns, so they use this ability to hijack the prey's senses, purposely flashing colors or making a rippling effect on their body, which looks so insane it confuses and stuns the prey in place, making them an easy target to eat. Even crazier, the antlion has an automatic feeding machine. It'll dig a sandpit designed in a funnel-like shape and sit at the bottom, simply waiting until a prey steps in. Then every time it tries to escape, gravity will slide the sand beneath, slowly lowering them deeper, eventually just sliding straight into the antlion's jaws. Finally, the archerfish has a built-in sniper. Their main diet is insects, which live out of reach on land, so instead they'll use their tongue, pressing it on a groove inside their mouth, forming a gun barrel-like shape, then compressing their gills, firing a water beam that knocks the bug directly into the water to eat it. These are 4 animals with the most overpowered hunting tactics. First, falcons literally turn themselves into missiles. When they spot a prey below, it'll fly up, fold its wings into a bullet-like shape, and dive straight down, clenching its talons into fists while reaching up to Excuse me.
Bye.